Hello, this is Steve Greene, and I am here at the Tempermill Studios in Ferndale, Michigan, and we're going to talk about how we recorded the new Voyager 3 record, War Mask. We love the gear that Tempermill has. Between the Harrison 32 input console and the MCI 2-inch 24-track tape machine and the vintage Neve 1073 preamps, all of that captures the Voyager 3 music in the best way possible. Doom Fortress and Are You Synthetic were recorded at the same studio in pretty much the exact same way, utilizing all the vintage gear and the tape machine. The songs evolve, of course, but the method for production has been the same for all three records. I love this room. This is the Tempermill's live room, and this is basically where all three of us sit and hash out arrangement of songs. You know, how many times is this going to play before it goes to the next part? We kind of set up all seeing each other. The drums kind of go right where I'm standing, and we have constructed 3 albums in this room basically. For the guitars for War Mask, Aaron played 3 different axes. He used a gold top Les Paul, Pearl Strat, and a Platinum SG. He ran those through a Marshall Silver Jubilee and a Vox AC30. The mics were Sennheiser MD421 and a Shure SM57 going through vintage Neve 1073 preamps. When we recorded the drums, we used a lot of mics. The drums we used were a DW drum kit and a Detroit Drum Company custom snare that Greg had built for him. I think it's something like 16 ply of maple, so it cracks like nobody's business. Snares were mic'd with top and bottom Shure SM57s, and the overheads were U87s. We did the hi-hat with a Rode NT5. Kick was done with 2 mics, D112 on the inside, and the outside was a Tube 47. In addition to this room being the amp room, this is also kind of the ambient chamber for drums. So what we did is we flew 2 C414s in here, so when the drums spill into this room, it's very reverberant in here. So we captured that and blended that back in with the drums for reverb sound or delay type sound, not using plugins. I used 6 synthesizers to record War Mask. I'll go down the list for you. A Prophet 6, a Moog Minotaur, a Juno 106, a Alpha Juno 1, a Sequential Circuit 6-track, and an Alesis Ion. Mainly the preamps that I used were these Millennia preamps that are here at the Tempermill. The reason why I chose the Millennia preamps is because they're very clean and true to the sound. They don't color the sound at all, so the synths sound as they sound. The one exception for signal chain is for the Moog Minotaur, I ran it through the Universal Audio 6176 compressor because it gives it a little bit of grit and it kind of tames it a little bit. Another great thing about the Tempermill is their EMT stereo plate reverb. There were a couple of places on this record where we actually printed that reverb onto tape and mixed it in during the mixing process, but that reverb you hear on some of the ham percussion is real plate reverb, it's not a plug-in. Another highlight is the Roland Chorus Echo RE301. We used it in particular on the intro of War Mask. It provides all these crazy warbles and high energy and low energy soundscapes when I put my synths through them. So we actually ran it twice and we panned it one hard left and hard right so that when you listen to it on headphones you have all kinds of stuff happening, and that's the intro of War Mask. I think that all this vintage gear helps glue together all of the vibe and intent of our music to match some of the classic stuff that we all grew up and that inspired us. We love being at Tempermill because with the combination of all the modern stuff and vintage stuff, we can get our record done and it sounds amazing. Now that we've shown you how we recorded War Mask, it's your job to go get that record. We have 2 colors of vinyl plus black vinyl, CDs, cassettes, digital, streaming, the whole 9 yards, so go get that record.